Hello everybody, Jessica here, giving you my March update on my 2022 Pan Those Eyeshadows project. This is such a fun project to do. It was started by a YouTuber named Alexi, if you aren't familiar, which I'm almost guaranteed that you are, but of course we'll always link her in the description box down below, along with some other fellow content creators who create Pan Those Eyeshadows videos or who do this project, because it's one of my favorites to watch. So check them out if you aren't familiar with them. We have a really great update coming at you this month. I've hit a few pans, so hooray. That means I get to roll in some new ones, which is always the most fun part. Got all my palettes right here behind me, so let's go ahead and get into this update. The first eyeshadow is from my Frozen 2 Elsa palette from the ColourPop collection, and I've been working on the shade Gale. This eyeshadow's been in my project for 2 months now, and in the first month I used it 8 times, and in this last month I was able to use it an additional 11 times. I was pretty committed on this shade, and I was able to hit pan. There's Gale right there. A decent sized pan on there. This shade was actually quite sheer, not super pigmented, I found, but that made it really easy to wear and quite adaptable for a lot of different looks, and could even be worn as more of like a topper shade over other eyeshadows or other lid shades. So really enjoyed having it in my project. I really love this palette. It has some sentimental connections for me. Not only do I love Elsa, but I really love the friend who gifted me this eye palette. So yeah, it always makes me think of her, and Elsa's just like a badass biatch. I just love the sisters. I'm an older sister, so maybe that's why I connect with Elsa so much, but love her and really have enjoyed this palette, especially in the winter season. It's really gone along quite well with how I've been feeling and the shades I've been going for. So we get to roll that one out. That's exciting, and that'll be my second pan now in this palette. One in Cuddle Close, which I hit last year in this project, and now one on Gale. And I did use quite a few other shades in this palette. I dipped into Fire a few times. This is one of my favorite shades, Northern Lights. I used that once or twice. And then I also challenged myself to use this shade. I did like a purple blue look, and it was quite beautiful, and I used that blue shade Water as well for that. The shade from my ColourPop She's a Rainbow palette has also been in this project for 2 months now. We've been working on a yellow matte shade called Sweet Spot, and this is what the shade has been looking like over the past couple months. When it rolled in, it had barely any use. I had used it 5 times in that first month, and in the last month I've used it an additional 8 times for a total of 13 times. And I'm glad I was able to get 8 uses on this shade in the past month. That was not really easy to do, but I've been finding better ways to use it, layering it with other shades, just creating more warm tone looks. And I'm finding it's a lot easier to use it when I use that strategy. So, hey. So this is what Sweet Spot is looking like now. And I definitely was inspired by Sweet Spot today. It's springy weather here, it's warmer, it's sunny, everything's green. So I was feeling some bright colors, feeling the yellow sunsetty look, and also wearing yellow for my video. This one definitely is looking a little bit more worn. It's starting to see a little bit of a dip, which is exciting. However, I'm not gonna hit pan on this. I have already resigned myself to that fact, but I'm gonna bring it in 1 more month and see how much more use we can get on it. 13 uses now, 17 uses till we get to 30, so we'll try. I'm definitely gonna try and use it 17 times. And if not, I might just roll it out at 3 months to keep these things fresh. We'll see. Although, you know, when is a better time to have yellow in than the spring? So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. We'll make the decision next month, but for now, this shade is gonna stay in, and I'm gonna enjoy using it, especially in this sunnier weather. The third shade we've been working on, and the third ColourPop palette we've been working on, is from my ColourPop The Child palette, and I've been working on the shade Float Your Crib also for 2 months. In the first month, I used this shade 6 times, mostly as a liner and to create like a wing, and in the past month, I've used it an additional 8 times, and I'm happy to report that after 14 uses total, I was able to hit pan. There's that beautiful pan for you. And this palette I've really enjoyed using. It is So beautiful. I just think these greens are so wearable, quite muted, and very flattering on my skin tone. I love how the green accentuates my green eyes, and I love how versatile it is, even though it's a green palette. Like, I can do a neutral look, I can do a deeper green, I can do a lighter green, and I really just enjoy bringing out this adorable little palette with the cute little baby Yoda in the mirror and on the front, and just a big Baby Yoda fan all around. I should say Grogu, his official name. Get it right, people. So glad to have had this palette in the rotation and had a great time with it while it was with me. But for now, we are gonna roll him out, and you know, he's gonna take a little rest, little Grogu. He's been using the Force a lot lately, and he's exhausted. He needs a nap. Do this for hours. My Glitter Storm palette, we rolled this in last month, and we rolled in the shade Solar. This shade's kind of like, oh my gosh, I haven't been swatching. I'll go back and swatch in a second. Rolled in the shade Solar, which is this shade right here. It's kind of like a burgundy. It didn't have a lot of use when I first rolled it in. It was looking like this. But in the past month, I've used this shade 9 times, and we are starting to see a slight little dip in there. That's what it's looking like. And this shade is okay. I mostly use it in my outer lid and blend it with other shades because it's too dark to wear all over the lid on a daily basis. I should do like a sultry look with this eventually, just to get, you know, a hefty use on it. But I haven't done that yet. It's been like kind of a accompanying shade so far. This palette also holds a special place in my heart because it was a gift, and I always enjoy when it's out. This is now my 3rd time rolling into this project though, so it definitely gets a lot of love. I don't know why. The project just is a magnet for the Glitter Storm palette. I think it's because all of you and me enjoy this glitter so much. The universe is just trying to deliver for you. Just gotta be open to it, I guess, you know? When I hit pan on Interstellar, I think it took me near 30 times. So I think this one is definitely gonna be with us for a while. We'll see how much progress we can make on it before the next update. Oh, I was gonna swatch it. I kept thinking, what am I forgetting? I know I was thinking of doing something before I put that palette down, and swatching. We're gonna swatch for you real quick, hold on. So here are the shades that swatched for you. Here's better. So there's Solar from the Ciate Glitter Storm palette. We have Gale from the Elsa ColourPop Frozen 2 palette. We have Sweet Spot from the ColourPop She's a Rainbow palette. Float Your Crib from the ColourPop The Child palette. And this is the next shade we're going to talk about, Tassel, which is a SuperShock shadow from ColourPop. Our last eyeshadow in our project that we need to talk about, Butter. It's like a white glittery shade. It's really quite versatile. You can wear it as a topper over almost anything or as an inner corner highlight. Here's what it was looking like when I rolled it in last month. It had a little bit of use on it, and I pretty quickly hit pan on this actually. I hit pan on my 4th use, and I think that's just because of the nature of these shades. They move around a lot. They're quite soft and pliable from just a little bit of pressure being put on them with your brush. And I definitely tried to use it a lot after that. So I used it 4 times, hit pan, and I feel like because it was kind of like a faux pan, don't even think about it, Butter. He's like trying to jump from one to another. No, naughty. Naughty. He's been on one lately, I'm telling you. I've used it a total of 11 times in the past month. Expanded that pan a little bit more. I used 7 more times after I hit pan, so it definitely has more of a significant pan there, and we are gonna roll it out. But we're gonna keep it around. I'm glad that these SuperShocks are getting use. I'm glad that they are getting pans. It makes me feel very satisfied. And now I have 2 pans on SuperShock shadows, where before I had 0. 3 pans. I'm super happy about this. We're rolling out the Frozen 2 palette, the Child palette, and this SuperShock palette. You'd think I'm doing an advertisement for ColourPop or something over here, but we are unfortunately not sponsored yet, okay? He can't resist himself. I even gave him treats before this to try and keep him in the kitchen. I know. I like knew that if I didn't give him treats, he was gonna meow at me the entire time I was filming. So I filled up his little treat game, his little treat toy with kibble and treats to keep him occupied, and Here he is. Don't you purr me. Okay, now we get to talk pan percentage, so I'm glad I didn't forget. So last month, I actually forgot to include my new pans from my Pan That palette, so my pan percentage was even higher than I thought it was. But what I told you all it was, last month it was at 10.18%. I was very excited to reach the 10% mark. But since last month, I was able to add 6 more to my pan count. 3 pans from my Pan That palette, which is the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. I'll link those videos up above. And I hit 3 pans in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. So I now have a total of 51 pans in my 442 eyeshadows total. So that brings me to a new percentage of 11.54%, which is a huge jump from last month, 1.5%. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really happy. It's very satisfying. It's making me feel that I can get to at least 15% by the end of the year. I'm feeling good about that. Yeah, it's only March. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this year so far. I feel like I've got a new mindset, you know? Things are getting done, and it's fun sharing these little victories with some of you. Hopefully butter isn't too much of a distraction for all of you, because we're about to reach the best part of the video when I grab my iPad and roll in 3 new eyeshadow shades that we get to work on in my project. I've been using the Tiny Decisions app to select my palettes, and then I use the random number generator to generate a shade from that palette that doesn't have pan in it already. So let's first select 3 new palettes that I'll be working on. Okay, the Urban Decay Vice 4, an old member of our Pan Those Eyeshadows project in the very beginnings, and one that I've been wanting to bring back out again because it has been a while. So I'm super happy about that. That's one of my oldest palettes, and it has some really fun colors in it. There's even some greens, so let's see if we get a green again. That'd be fun. Okay, next one. Too Faced Chocolate Gold, another palette that I like. Okay, I'm actually gonna go back and forth because if I get something, I might wanna re-roll. So I'm just gonna grab that. I'm gonna get the Vice 4, choose the shade. Excuse you. Here's my Vice 4 palette from Urban Decay. I loved this packaging when it first came out. This was like one of my first high-end palettes that I ever got, and I was like lusting for it. I think I got it for Christmas or something in the early days of makeup for Jessica, or eyeshadow really. I've always loved makeup, but I've only in the past like 5 or 6 years gotten into eyeshadow. Here's what this palette's looking like now. I already have pan in Bones here and in Fastball. We have 18 other shades to choose from. So let's roll in a number between 1 and 18. Excuse you. I'm trying to roll here, butter. He has no regard, I'm telling you. I love you. Okay, put in the numbers 1 through 18. Shake it up. We'll see. There it goes. Number 8, which is like my favorite number. Let's see what it says. Okay, we're skipping this one because I already have pan in it. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh, another purple. We rolled in the shade Harlot, which is that shimmery like lavender right there, pretty similar to Gale, not too different from what we just rolled out, but that's okay. I love working with purples, and this is quite a springy shade in my opinion. I can definitely see myself wearing that in March and April. Oh my gosh, this shade's very pretty. It's like what Gale could have been. So there's Harlot, quite a beautiful shimmer, I think. And I think I'm gonna really enjoy working with that. So that's a fun one. I'm really glad I wrote that in. These purples are one of the reasons I keep this palette around. I just can't bring myself to get rid of it. I feel like it has so many beautiful shades. Mostly the turquoises are pretty unique, but I do have other purples, but these are really beautiful purples and it's a nice formula. So I'm glad I've kept this around. Didn't roll in a green, but that's okay. I mean, green is just so expected, you know? And I can always roll with a purple. Here's my Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. This one was in my project last year, but I didn't end up hitting pan. I did get a lot of good use on a shade though. I think it was Gold Dipped right here that I was working on. And I was able to get a little bit of a dip in there. But the rest of this palette is pretty gently used, barely used at all. And it'll be fun to get some more work on it. I'm pretty sure I used this 30 times without hitting pan. Let me check. That dip took me 14 uses to get, and it rolled out just at the end of the year. So it'll be fun to see if I can hit pan on one of these shades with getting the full 30 uses on it. So I am gonna have that one as a possibility to be rolled in. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't, but it's a possibility. And there's also a green in here as well, so maybe we'll get that. I don't know. 16 shades in this palette. Let's roll a number between 1 and 16. Oh, I didn't show you. So number 12, I totally forgot. So let's see what shade that was. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh goodness. Hollow for $1. That's gonna be a tricky one. It's like a black with gold flake in it, basically, which is not an easy shade to wear, especially in the spring months. There's Hollow for $1. Wow, that one is gonna be tricky. I don't typically veto shades, but I don't know, like a goldy black. Okay, we're gonna go for it. That's what this game's all about, right? This is a challenge. So we're gonna roll in Hollow for $1 and see what we can do. It'll be an experiment. I can definitely see myself using this to darken my crease for a more smoky look. We'll see how it performs. I don't know. Should be interesting. If after a month I'm really having a hard time and not feeling it, I'll probably roll it out. I can definitely use it as a liner, so there is that. And we'll see how it goes. Got some interesting things so far. Okay, so here we are. Let's go on to the next. We get to roll in one more palette. Hope it's something good. I would love something just brand new that I've never worked on in this project before. Wish me luck. Oh, okay. My Singles Z palette. Let's grab that. I've got quite a random curation of singles. Here's my singles palette. It's a mix of really random singles. I've never been like a singles person. I have a few here and there. Some of them have been sent to me from BoxyCharm, Depotted. I do have like some special shades I got from Sugar Pill and Give Me Glow Cosmetics, as well as, I think are these ColourPop? Yeah, and I have some ColourPop singles as well. I have 20 shades in this palette, but one of them already has pan. This one here, but the rest of them are pretty unused, basically. So let's roll in a number between 1 and 19. Got some bright, colorful shades in here. That might make it interesting. Got the numbers 1 through 19. Shake it up. Here it goes. Okay, I'm at look. 12 again? Did it really just go to 12 again? Did that happen? I'm gonna skip this one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A green, look at that, how fun. So yay, that is a ColourPop shade, I believe. Oh, I just dropped it. Oh God, Jessica, so clumsy. This is the shade Up and Up by ColourPop, one of their press singles. That's what she's looking like. It definitely has been used once or twice, but not a lot of use on it. So there's Up and Up swatched. You can see it is quite wearable, I think. I'm going to enjoy that one. I'm excited. Hooray. I think I'm going to have this whole palette sitting out on my vanity too, so I can utilize some of those other beautiful shades that definitely never get reached for, and that'll be fun. Here's the palette that's going out and our palette that's coming in. Overall, I'm super happy. I think it's going to be a great month. I can see a lot of possibilities with this palette. I think I can definitely pair Up and Up with Hollow for $1. I think I can pair Solar with Hollow for $1 as well. Solar and Harlot will go well together. Sweet Spot and Hollow for $1. Sweet Spot and Up and Up. There's possibilities here, and I'm really happy we got a green. That just made it a little bit more fun. Even though it was just dog and green a second ago, I will be very happy to wear an expected green look in the next few weeks as we amp up for St. Patrick's Day. Last but not least, let's talk about a few of my eyeshadow looks I did in the past month. This look I did on Valentine's Day. It has Solar on the lid and Gale on the inner part of the lid, as well as Tassel in my inner corner. Here's a sunset look I did, which isn't too different from the look I have on today. I used Sweet Spot in the crease, blended it with some neutrals to give it a more orangey look, and I used Solar on the lid. Purple look I did using Buon Fresco from the ABH Modern Renaissance palette, but I have Gale all over the lid, as well as topped with some other shimmery, with that other shimmer shade. I think it's Northern Lights from the Frozen Elsa 2 palette. Yeah, I really like this look. I wore a lot of versions of that look in the last month. Like this one. This is another very similar version of that same look with Gale on the lid. This look I used the ColourPop The Child palette, and I used the neutrals in the crease and the gold on the lid, and then I made a big fat green wing with Float Your Crib, and I really loved this look. It was one of my favorite ones I did in the past month. Yeah, here's just like a more dramatic purple look that I did, and I also used Solar in this look as well as Gale. Yeah, here's another time I used a lot of those neutrals with a green wing. This one just wasn't quite as dramatic. This is just a more like understated look, I guess, but I did that quite a few times. This is a really pretty pink toned look I did, and I used Solar in this look in the outer corner just to deepen up the other pinks, and I like how it turned out. Here's another time that I used the ColourPop The Child palette. I used Float Your Crib in the outer part of my crease and buffed it out with those neutral tones and topped it with some of those green shimmer shades from the palette. That was a really pretty look. I enjoyed that one. Here was a more neutral look I did with Float Your Crib. I just really buffed it out lightly in the crease and topped it with one of the more subdued green shimmers, and I really liked how that looked. It was quite soft and pretty. And here's the look that I'm wearing today. Another sunset inspired look. I used Sweet Spot in the crease. I forgot to say in the last one, I also had Sweet Spot in the crease for the last sunset look. Yeah, I have Sweet Spot here, Solar in the outer part of the lid, and then I used some shades from the Mercury Retrograde palette to cover the rest of the lid, and they are gorgeous. I want to play with that palette more. It needs some love and attention from me. It's just too beautiful to be ignored any longer. If you want to see more makeup looks from me, I post them on my Instagram at JessiquitaPanana, or you can follow the hashtag MakeupByJessiquita. I will link my Instagram in my description box, and feel free to follow. I'd be happy to have you there too. Thank you so much for watching my update today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really excited to work on these new shades in my project, and I think I'll be able to share some interesting looks with you in the next month. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I also wanted to let you know that I'm linking some organizations in the description box below that you can donate to help the situation in Ukraine and help the people there that are going through literal hell right now. So if you're interested, check that out as well. And I hope that you are doing well out there and staying safe. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Have a great one. Bye.